In the headlines tonight,
hereby declares that Ruto William
Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto announced winner of Kenya presidential elections.
I've not seen a referral letter from the private clinic to the health center.
Health Committee of Parliament demands for arrest of Ginger Hospital doctor over negligence. 4 suspects arrested in connection with Chotera kidnap and early marriage. And in sports, Uganda is set to host the 2022 FIM Africa Motocross Nations Championship. A very good evening to you. I trust you had a well-rested weekend. This is CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. We start off from Kenya, where the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has today announced William Ruto as the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya after obtaining 7,176,141 votes to make 50.49% and beat his rival Raila Odinga, who managed to obtain 6,942,930 votes to make 48.85% in what has proven to be a tight election. Ruto today revealed that he is ready to unite Kenya following his victory. Take a look.
In the afternoon, all eyes were glued on different television sets as millions waited for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to announce the winner of the presidential elections in what promised to be a close election. The announcement, which was supposed to take place at 3 p.m. was postponed after dramatic scenes unfolded at Bomas when a group of people started to exchange blows. Anti-riot police had to intervene in the matter to quell the protests and restore order. At around 6 p.m., the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Wafula Chebukati, made his way to the hall to make the announcement. Some of the people present at Bomas included Kenya Kwanza candidate William Ruto and his team, but other presidential candidates were not present, including frontrunner in the election and Azimio la Umoja candidate Raila Odinga. Before reading the results, IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati spoke out against intimidation and arbitrary arrests of his staff. He then announced the results, revealing William Ruto as the winner of the election with 50.49% against Raila Odinga's 48.85%.
Presidential candidates. These are the aggregated results. Odinga Raila, total valid votes 6,942,930. And this represents 48.85% of the votes garnered, and he achieved a number of counties the candidate attained with at least 25% of the total valid votes cast is 34 counties. Ruto William Samoei, number of valid votes, 7 million. Thank you. 7,176,140. So, in accordance with the law, the Constitution and the law, I, Wafula Chebukati, chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, hereby declares that Ruto William
After declaring William Ruto the winner of the election, he was handed his certificate and asked to speak to the public. In his speech, President-elect William Ruto thanked the people of Kenya for raising the bar because the election was not tribal in nature.
I want to thank God for getting us to this point. I want to thank God that today we have concluded this election. I know that there were predictions that I won't get to the ballot. There were predictions that we won't get here. But because there is a God in heaven, we are here.
Ruto also thanked the IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati for standing firm.
The hero of this election is the IEBC, led by Wafula Chebukati. I say this with conviction that the IEBC amazed all of us.
He further thanked his rival Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta and vowed to work towards building peace in Kenya.
I want to thank my worthy competitor, the Honorable Raila Odinga, for a campaign that we all dwell on issues and we try to sell an agenda to the people of Kenya. I want to promise that I will work with all elected leaders and all leaders in Kenya so that we can fashion a country that leaves nobody behind.
Millions of Kenyans took to the streets to celebrate William Ruto's win as they donned on yellow colors. William Ruto now becomes the 5th president of Kenya to replace Uhuru Kenyatta, who has served 2 terms.
Now we bring you a quick look into the life journey of President-elect William Ruto.
He was born in 1966 at Sambato village, Uasin Gishu County, to Daniel and Sarah Cheruiyot. Dr. Ruto, who described himself as the son of a peasant, attended Kamagut Primary School. DP Ruto went to Werang Secondary School in Eldoret and did his A-level at Kapsabet High School in Nandi County. As a university student, Mr. Ruto was a God-fearing Christian who served at one time as the chairman of the University of Nairobi's choir. Mr. Ruto's political journey started in KANU's party politics, where he contested various branch positions. He served as an official in the Secretariat of the Powerful Youth for KANU Lobby Group, popularly known as YK 92. In 1997, Mr. Ruto was elected Member of Parliament for Eldoret North constituency on a KANU ticket. Former President Daniel Moi appointed Mr. Ruto the Home Affairs Assistant Minister in 2002, and in the same year, he was re-elected as MP. In the 2002 general elections, Mr. Ruto was key campaigner for President Uhuru Kenyatta's first presidential bid, but they lost to Mr. Mwai Kibaki's Rainbow Coalition. Nonetheless, Mr. Ruto remained in KANU, rising through the ranks to become the party's Secretary General in 2005. During the 2005 proposed constitution, Mr. Ruto was in No movement that was victorious in the ensuing referendum. The No movement comprised Mr. Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, Musalia Mudavadi, Joy Nyaga, and Najib Balala. The movement birthed the Orange Democratic Movement, where Mr. Ruto was among the key figures, dubbed the Pentagon. Emboldened by the successful No campaign, ODM emerged as the major opposition party, with KANU and smaller platforms teaming for the 2007 general elections. The results of the 2007 elections were disputed, leading to violence that left over 1,000 people dead and 650,000 people displaced. The International Criminal Court came calling as the post-election violence dust settled, with Mr. Ruto and Mr. Kenyatta named among 6 individuals summoned, but the charges were later dropped. Mr. Ruto and Kenyatta teamed up for the 2013 general election, in which they emerged victorious under the Jubilee Party. The Jubilee duo promised to tackle ground corruption in the public service sector, create jobs for Kenya's unemployed youth, build stadiums, provide every Class 1 student with laptops, and offer free primary and secondary education. He has today been announced the president-elect of Kenya, and his development is on record of the spotlight as Kenyans take stock of what the Jubilee government has accomplished in the 6 years the party has been in power. Tony Patila Humza, CTV, PM Edition.
Switching to matters health, members of the Health Committee of Parliament are demanding for the arrest of Dr. Subi Bizibu, an employee of Jinja Regional Referral Hospital, who they claim is behind the death of twins at childbirth. According to the MPs, Dr. Bizibu asked for a bribe of 150 Uganda shillings, which led to their death. The details.
The Health Director, Jinja Regional Referral Hospital, Dr. Alfred Yai, and other stakeholders in the health sector from the districts of Jinja and Bugweri today appeared before the Health Committee of Parliament. While appearing before the committee, the health workers were put on spot to explain the incident in which a pregnant mother had her uterus burst in a hospital, causing the death of a baby.
I've not seen a referral letter from the private clinic to the health center form. Neither have I seen a referral note from the health center form to Uganda Hospital.
About this gentleman, a theater attendant called Subi, is that he's been a recurrent conman at the hospital. And we are saying, if he has been recurrent, why hasn't the committee been sanctioning him, and bringing him to order?
Members of the committee also accused Dr. Subi Bizibu from Jinja Regional Referral Hospital of asking a patient of Uganda shillings 150,000 for blood before directing the patient to a private clinic. MPs are now demanding the arrest of Dr. Bizibu.
We recommended him to appear before our Rewards and Sanctions Committee, and the committee recommended that for now he be suspended and further investigation be done.
And this is unacceptable. Blood is a very important commodity. It is free of charge. We cannot have people, we are trying to organize and rearrange the health sector. And then you get one person who is a problem in the hospital.
The same committee wants government to have all blood packs labeled not for sale and are recommending a blood bank at a regional level.
So we are saying that as a committee, we need to allocate more resources to have more blood banks at regional level. We need to address these issues. The health sector does not only depend on drugs, human resource infrastructure, equipment. There are precious commodities like blood that we need to also address.
Uganda currently has one blood bank located in Nakasero, Kampala City. This blood bank is supposed to serve the whole country. Romson Muhire, CTV PM Edition.
In the August House, the Rules, Privileges and Disciplinary Committee of Parliament has summoned the Leader of the Opposition in Parliament, Matthias Mpuga, and the Bukoto South Member of Parliament, Dr. Twaha Kagabo, to appear before the committee to respond to issues of returning the 40 million shillings to the Speaker of Parliament. Dr. Twaha Kagabo recently held a press conference where he revealed that he had received money from the Speaker of Parliament as a bribe. Take a look.
Reportedly carrying the 40 million.
Last week on Tuesday, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Mong, directed the Rules, Privilege and Discipline Committee of Parliament to investigate the issue of Dr. Twaha Kagabo returning 40 million shillings he claimed to have received from Speaker. Kagabo had taken the money in cash to the Leader of Opposition, Matthias Mpuga, who advised him to return the money to the Speaker's residence, where he claimed to have picked the money from.
Time ago, I received the money to a tune of 40 million on my account. And shortly after that, I was also invited to pick money, 40 million, which money I was told was an arrangement internally from Parliament. And I received this money. I picked this money from the Speaker's home.
In transparency, as the leader, I am going to give my security to the honourable member to return the money where he picked it. as a way of being transparent.
However, the Speaker of Parliament distanced herself from the allegation, revealing that she did not dish out the 40 million to members of Parliament.
I did not give him any money. I don't even know him. For information, he has been a member of Parliament here, but I don't know him. And based on that, this is a breach of conduct of this House. It is an abuse to this House.
In June this year, reports circulated that legislators have received 40 million shillings each, thanking them for passing the 618 supplementary budget. Speaking to journalists today after an in-house meeting, the chairperson of the Rules and Privilege Committee of Parliament, Abdul Katuntu, revealed that they have written to Dr. Twaha Kagabo and hope to see him in 1 week.
We held a preliminary meeting and we are going to start investigating this matter on Monday, the 22nd, at exactly 10 a.m. At the beginning, we are going to look at only 2 witnesses. That is the Honorable Kagabo and then the leader of opposition, to ascertain whether it is true that he tried to return the money, because we don't know.
According to Katuntu, Dr. Twaha Kagabo will be allowed to appear before the committee with his lawyer, who will also be allowed to cross-examine the witnesses who will appear before the committee.
Honorable Kagabo is free to come with his lawyer. 2, he will be free and entitled to attend all the proceedings of this committee as far as they relate to this issue. 4, he will be entitled to cross-examine anybody who will appear before this committee in regard to this particular issue.
Meanwhile, the committee vice chairperson, who is also the Gulu East MP, Reverend Charles Onan, says they are going to remind the State Minister for Housing, Persis Namuganza, to appear before the committee on the issues of undermining the select committees of Parliament. Sarah Nakandi for CTV PM Edition.
Thank you, Sarah, for that report. PM Edition returns shortly with more stories after the break. Welcome back to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Richamuzi on sign language. Moving on, police have today confirmed the arrest of 4 people in connection with the kidnap of a 14-year-old girl for marriage in Chotera district. The girl, who has since been rescued, was caught on video last week as she was being grabbed by a group of men to forcefully take her.
In a video that leaked on social media last week, a group of 6 men who emerged from a car was seen grabbing a teenage girl off a motorcycle as they tried to force her into a waiting vehicle. About 10 people were at the scene as they watched the drama unfold. It was later confirmed that the young woman was being kidnapped to be forced into marriage by relatives who are taking advantage of the victim's father. While addressing journalists today at the police headquarters in their weekly briefing, police publicist Fred Enanga confirmed the arrest of 4 people in connection with the kidnap of the young woman in Chotera district.
Our territorial team in Greater Massacre as well as crime intelligence, they have done a great job, which has so far led to the arrest of 4 suspects who were actively involved in the kidnap, trafficking and attempted child forceful marriage.
According to Enanga, child sex predators are still on the loose in the country and that police will continue with investigations to nab the perpetrators.
So we want to warn parents, guardians who don't see the harmful repercussions of child marriage, that they stand warned. This is a practice that is outlawed, so they cannot continue. Continue forcing children into such traditions.
Police have also urged parents to remain cautious, especially during the holidays, to prevent cases such as child kidnappings, organ trafficking, and child abuse.
It is also a time where parents, guardians, caretakers, local leaders need to be extra cautious about the safety of children in homes, in the neighborhood, as they go traveling and visiting. Therefore, as the holidays begin, it's important to remember that protecting children is a priority.
Deputy spokesperson of police Claire Nabaka has also advised parents to engage their children in order to avoid gangs, drugs, and explicit content. Parents have also been urged to pay attention to signs of child abuse.
Let us not leave it only to the parents, but every single one of us in all our capabilities and capacities, let us be able to guide and protect our children. To the parents,
pay attention to signs of child abuse. Many times adults tend to disregard feelings from children. A child is coming, mommy, my choo-choo, I'm feeling bad here, and then you say, go and play with your children. Please, let's, as adults, not disregard the feelings from children.
According to the police, child trafficking in Uganda has been on the rise since 2021. Police say that over 1,000 children have been trafficked, but only 30 cases were successfully reported and culprits charged and convicted. Hope Nyongereza, CTV PM Edition.
Kampala Capital City Authority has started the exercise of counting and registration of border motorcycles in Kampala despite challenges and resistance from cyclists. According to the authority, the move aims at boosting security, health of the riders and restoring order in the city.
Since the beginning of this year, the Ministry of Works and Transport, together with Uganda Police, the Uganda Driving Standards Agency and the other stakeholders have been registering, training and testing the mental health of border riders in Kampala City. Not so long ago, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robert Anabanja, presided over the exercise, which was held at Chura Road grounds. Now, Kampala Capital City Authority is carrying out a border census in the city. The Deputy Executive Director of KCCA Engineer David Luimbazi. The move aims at improving the security and the health of the riders.
The crowding of border has made the streets disorderly, congested and cause inconvenience to both the operators and passengers, as well as the general public, as well as our visitors who come to look at Kampala as the face of the city. There are many reported accidents caused by border borders, and according to the Kampala Road Safety Annual Report of 2019-2020, up to 46 to 48% of the accidents in hospitals in Kampala are due to border activities.
I am sure once everything is in place that we need, we shall go on to enforce. All we request riders is to follow what has been requested. Because
Luimbazi says after counting the border cyclists in the city, they will be registered, given uniforms, all in the interest of creating a smart city.
Accordingly, we appeal to all residents of Kampala City to support the ongoing border registration or census exercise, and urge all border owners, riders, operators to participate in the exercise and promote the smart city. KC will not charge any cost for this census exercise. Exercise is free, completely free, and done in public interest.
Bat Valley Primary School, Old Kampala Secondary School, Lubaga Division, Makerere Yellow Primary School are some of the locations the authority will be carrying out the counting of border. Some of the border riders we spoke to have expressed their dismay with the exercise.
I came here this morning. I didn't find anyone. I just got the chairman of Kampala Central. Was there seated, but no information. So I was even just worried.
Fred Maweje, one of the border leaders in Kompe Division, says they are closely monitoring what the government is doing. The border census by Kampala Capital City Authority comes just weeks after the Lord Mayor of Kampala, Elias Lukwago, filed a case against the State Minister for Kampala, French Fatogabie, and the Deputy Resident City Commissioner for Rubaga Division, challenging the exercise, which he claims illegal. Safi, Mokele Baloko and Chris, Semale Musemakula for CTV, PM Edition.
Across the globe, Russia has vowed to expand its comprehensive and constructive bilateral relations with North Korea, says its president, Vladimir Putin.
In a letter sent to his counterpart Kim Jong-un on Pyongyang's Liberation Day, Mr. Putin said the move would be in both countries' interests. In turn, Mr. Kim said friendship between both nations had been forged in World War II with victory over Japan. He added that their comradely friendship would grow stronger. According to a report by North Korean state media outlet KCNA, Mr. Putin said the expanded bilateral relations would conform with the interests of the two countries. In his letter, Mr. Kim said the Russian-North Korean friendship forged in the anti-Japanese war had been consolidated and developed century after century. It added strategic and tactical cooperation, support and solidarity between the two countries had been put on a new high stage in the common front for frustrating the hostile forces, military threat and provocation. Pyongyang did not identify the hostile forces by name, but the term has been used repeatedly by North Korea to refer to the US and its allies. The Soviet Union was once a major ally of North Korea, offering economic cooperation, cultural exchanges and aid. But the relationship suffered since the collapse of the Iron Curtain, only gradually picking up somewhat after Russia's gradual estrangement from the West since the early 2000s. In July, North Korea was one of the few countries to officially recognize two Russian-backed separatist states in eastern Ukraine after Russia signed a decree declaring them as independent. In retaliation, Ukraine, which is fighting off Russian invasion of its territory, cut off all diplomatic ties with Pyongyang.
We return shortly with more news from the world of sports, so don't blink. You are still watching CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on sign language. In the world of sports, the Federation of International Motocross Africa has approved Garuga Racing Track to host the 2022 Motocross of African Nations Continental Championship. The competition returns to Uganda for the first time since 2012. The details.
After months of inspection of the Garuga racetrack and dialogue between FIM Africa and the governing body of motorsport, FMU, Uganda has been approved to host the 2022 Motocross Championship at the racetrack 10 years after Busika last hosted the African Championship. With this approval and announcement, the Federation of Motorsport Uganda spokesperson and communications officer Frank Sergo Kahesi has addressed the confirmation and announcement by FIM for Uganda being ready to go and host the 2022 Championship at the Victoria Race at Garuga.
I take the order to thank NCS, FIM Africa and the Federation of Motorsport Clubs of Uganda for having rolled up their sleeves at the last minute as it was so demanding to have an activation of the FIM Africa Motocross of African Championship hosting. Garuga, the public is hereby informed that Garuga Raceway, Victoria Raceway Track is a farmed venue for the host. We get to see our team get to race against the best Africa elite riders from 7 other nations. We can confirm as FMU that with the last supervision of the track, Garuga, Friday the 12th, we had a confirmation from FIM Africa President on the 13th August that Garuga is as well good to go to host this event.
This confirmation comes weeks after the Uganda Motocross fraternity under the umbrella factions of FMU and MAU had a memorandum of understanding meeting and seminar to reunite and bury the differences for the good of the sport ahead of the championship, in which both leaders, Dipru Pareria of FMU and Barack Olan of MAU, were in synchronization and unity about the forthcoming championship.
We are glad that this has come ahead of the Motocross of African Nations, a continental competition that we shall be hosting this month at Garuga. Our preparations for the event are going on very well.
It's one is to make the event, and two is to make a successful event. And we here basically want to make sure the event is not going to just to be an event. We want to make sure the event will be a successful event.
On the upcoming championship, one of the parent riders and a major stakeholder in the Ugandan motocross fraternity, Amos Wekesa, had this to say about the championship.
I see lots of potential. I joined the motocross in 2017. That's when my first son joined the game. In 2017, we went to Botswana and we became second last. And in 2018, we went to Zambia, and because we took a bigger team, we came number 4 in Africa. In 2019, we went to Zimbabwe, and we came number 3 in Africa. Now we have a chance to win Africa when we're together.
Currently, the Uganda national team is under intensive training and preparations at the different racetracks in the country, such as Busika, Kasanje, to fine-tune for the championship. The FIM Africa Motocross of African Nations Championship was last held in Uganda in 2012 at Busika, with this year's tournament, which will have a participation of over 200 riders from countries such as Uganda, Kenya, Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Morocco, Tanzania competing. The 2022 Africa Motocross Championship will be held at the end of this week on the 19th to the 20th of August at the Victoria Race Track in Garuga. Saikasin Sekarara, CTV PM Edition.
Uganda's 3-on-3 national basketball team started their quest for a medal at the 2022 Islamic Solidarity Games in Turkey with a flying start. Uganda defeated Maldives 27 yesterday. Now they play Iran and Mauritania tomorrow. Take a look.
Winning the 3-on-3 basketball championship at the 2022 Islamic Solidarity Games in Konya, Turkey is the ultimate target for the Uganda men's 3-on-3 basketball team, the Silverbacks. The team comprised of local-based players such as James Okello, David Okello, Titus Rual Odeke, and Tony Doreriba, coached by UCU Cannons tactician Nick Nyatuhereza, tipped off the championship by beating Islanders Guyana 18-15, and today they beat Maldives 27 in a game they dominated. The championship has a participation of 20 countries playing a round-robin system in groups before the last 8 qualify for the quarterfinals. On this brilliant start of the championship and looking ahead of the tournament, head coach Nick Nyatuhereza had this to say.
I think it was a good first start of the 2 wins, especially against teams we didn't know much about. We haven't seen them before, but I think it was important that we get the 2 wins today. And we know Iran is going to be a tough opponent, but we have a rest tomorrow, and also we'll be able to plan accordingly and come and be ready to fight against Iran the next time we play. Yeah, they are definitely fit, but we have tough opponents against Mali. Starting tomorrow. I believe Mali was in the final the last round of this game, so it'll be a tough one, but we'll be ready for it.
On the other hand, senior player James Okello talked about the team performance and the team's hopefulness of reaching the quarterfinals.
The first 2 games we played against Guyana and each other team. We have won both our games, so we need like 1 win to qualify for the quarterfinals. We are hopeful. We know tomorrow will be. We are playing Tuesday. Tuesday we play Iran and Mauritania, so we believe we can beat both teams, qualify for the quarterfinals.
Uganda will be back in action tomorrow in the last Group B matches against Iran and then conclude against Mauritania in brightening their chances of reaching the last 8 and winning the 3-on-3 tournament at the 2022 Islamic Solidarity Games in the Turkish city of Konya. Saika Yasin Sekalala, CTV, PM edition.
Thank you, Saika Yasin, for those reports. We have come to the end of tonight's edition. Thank you for staying tuned in. More interesting programs are lined up for you after this, so remember to keep it CTV. From the entire team, we wish you a good night and be blessed.